Greetings and salutations, my good friends. This is yours truly, Liger here, and today we are going to be embarking into a new investigation again. And we're going to be focusing today on a new project by Justin Sun and the Tron Foundation called Justlink. And as you might have guessed from the name, it is an Oracle service, just like Band Protocol, Tellor, and Chainlink. And it's nobody's surprise that, Justin Sun has a bit of a history in the cryptocurrency industry, making a lot of promises to people, which he hasn't kept. So he's a bit of a disingenuous actor. I don't think I need to even convince the main Tron fans on that Justin is a bit of a liar, a bit of a disingenuous actor in the space. And it's always something up with him when he is talking in Twitter and making ridiculous claims. And this is going to be one of those things again. And we're going to be looking into a bit of what is going on with Justlink. And I'm going to be talking a bit about also some of the centralization problems revolving around Tron right now. So let's start with what is actually going on. So 2 days ago, they announced a new project, which is called Justlink. And it's basically an Oracle service built on Tron. And then there are these supernode partners, which we're going to be getting into in a second. And this was announced on October 30th. And I was too busy yesterday to dig into this whole story, but better late than never. And I do have some updates also on it. And basically, it's just there to be an Oracle service. If people do not know what Oracle does, it's basically feeding real-world data into the blockchain. For example, the prices of the fiat markets or stocks, or what is the time in the world right now, or some other API data. And the Oracle basically filters out that data into the blockchain. And there was obviously a lot of controversy here regarding this release, because of multiple reasons, which we're going to be exploring in this video, in this investigation. So here's the initial post, which was done on somewhere on October 30th, middle of the day. And the first claim here is that it's the first Oracle project on Tron. And actually, it is not true. That is a lie, and Justin even knows that it's a lie, actually. And we're going to be exploring why in this video in just a second. And basically, it's talking about real-world data and DeFi, creating world of trustworthy and accessible data, yada, yada, yada. And then there's a lot of updates about essentially a component of the Just ecosystem. And this guy is such an egomaniac. I mean, he's naming everything after him. Just Swap, Sun Mining. And I mean, like, how far this guy can go. And it just amazes me. But the problem here is that, let's start with the supernodes. So I already mentioned that I want to talk about a bit of the centralization, because it's kind of key point what I'm going to be making here in this video. So here you can see all the supernodes that are actually part of. So it's Poloniex, BitTorrent, uTorrent. This is the Tron. I don't remember the name right now. This is the development thing. Poloniex, JustSwap, and TronLink. What does all of these 7 things have in common? Well, all of them are owned by Tron Foundation. And here's a bit of a chart of all the things that Tron basically owns under their own ecosystem. So there's BitTorrent, which is the owner and the creator of uTorrent. You have the Sun token, you have the Just token, you have the USDJ, JustSwap, Wink, DApp Radar. A lot of people don't know that, but that is actually owned by Tron. And I may believe also DApp.review might be owned by Tron as well. I'm not confirmed on that. They also acquired, obviously, DLive, which was originally owned by Steemit, and now they own both. And then there is, obviously, TronScan and TronLink, which they also own. And this is a very big problem because, as we saw on their website, their literal slogan is decentralize the web, yet all of the supernodes are actually run by the same person, which is Justin Sun, who is the CEO of Tron Foundation. So all of these applications and big dApps are basically all run by the same people. Moving on, the interesting part about all of this to me was they already talked about back in August that band protocol would be the Oracle service on Tron and they would be creating a token under Tron. So why backpedal on something that happened like less than 2 months ago? And now they're going to be doing their own token instead of having band protocol on Tron. Why exactly did that go down? Is it because of the drama happening with Sushi Swap? I don't know. But it's like really weird to me that you're going to be announcing that you're going to be exploring this idea and this partnership, especially because Band is pretty established. It's a top 50 coin or token right now in the space. And now suddenly like, oh, we're by the way doing our own, Oracle service. And, as I said, literal slogan is decentralize the web. So instead of like bringing an actual new player to the scene and creating something of decentralized nature and making the Tron a more decentralized network, no, let's just do it ourselves and have all nodes run by our own company. And then obviously they actually literally copied the Chainlink GitHub and deployed everything basically as their own. So the link token is basically just Chainlink copy. This was reported by Chainlink God. He did a pretty good reporting on the matter. And here you can see all the GitHub comparisons of all the data. It is pretty much copy and paste over from Ethereum into Tron. It's like not like a one-to-one copy, but so much of this stuff, as you can see here, the documentation, and they already copied obviously the Ethereum white paper. That's not something, by the way, I did ever like research. I know a lot of people say that, but I don't actually know, like, was it actually a one-to-one copy? How much of the original Tron white paper was actually copied by Ethereum? Because that's something I have to research on my own. But definitely like big red signals here in terms of like copying all of this stuff from Chainlink. And yeah, Chainlink's code is open source, but like, hey, maybe be a bit transparent about it. Also, their white paper, by the way, here on the website, there are no references. I did go through was the white paper also copied. Apparently no. So this is actually like their own talk, but it's only 11 papers at 0 sources, by the way. And when you're going to be copying somebody else's code, usually you want to cite that in your white paper. Oh, by the way, we just copied the code from Chainlink and yada, yada, yada. So, and this is not even the most fucked up part. The fucked up part was that there was already, as I talked about earlier, there was already an Oracle system on Tron called Bridge Oracle, which I have already talked about on the channel prior. I do hold back still on this project, and I was very excited about it because there was no Oracle service on Tron, and I saw it as a very good investment. And basically, they were asking funding from Tron. And turns out they had several chats with the team, so here's the evidence that they actually knew that Bridge was existing. And it is indeed the first Oracle project, has been around since 2019. And basically, they wanted to discuss with them. There's other Twitter posts about this, and basically like, hey, we asked for money to create this decentralized Oracle process on Tron, so we can provide this service to existing things in Tron. And obviously Justin, decentralize the web. Oh, by the way, we are going to be centralizing it again and do it on our own. So this is like extremely like really dubious behavior, like pretty much stealing the idea from both Chainlink and Bridge Oracle, and then just like also fucking over Band protocol by talking earlier that, hey, we're gonna be bringing Band to Tron, and then just going fucking all these 3 parties and continuing the centralized shit going on Tron. And here's another picture, which is gonna be our closing note, which is that in case you're not familiar with Tron, it is a delegate proof of stake, and you have basically 27 super representatives, which are basically running out the whole system. And that list has changed over the times, and I think it was a lot more decentralized in the past. Right now, out of the 27, 9 are actually run by Tron Foundation. So you have BitTorrent and uTorrent, and both Poloniex and Poloniedex are delegators. You have TronLink, and once again, this Tron G, which I always forgot it's the development team. And then you have blockchain.org, which was originally acquired by Tron Foundation. And then you have TronScan, and then you have own delegate account by Justin's son, which he has said, quote unquote, that all of this money will be given into charity. And far as I know, he hasn't done that in the past. He hasn't given those voting rewards into charity things. And then there are these 4 unknown representatives, which I don't know who they are. And some people are believing that they are socket accounts. So actually, the real number of super representatives run by Tron themselves could be 15, which means that they could basically do a 51% attack, or however that would be done on the Tron network. And then, obviously, the biggest delegate here is Binance. So we have 3 exchanges, HitBTC, Huobi, and Binance there, along with Poloniex and Polonidex. Why there are centralized entities building the network to be more decentralized. That is going against every belief of decentralization, in my opinion. Granted, all of these have adventures in DeFi as well, but there are other exchanges there like Stex and NewDex, which are also there, likely to be super delegates very soon based on the votes. They're kind of like on the depending positions right now, and the existing low-end partners could lose their positions, and then eventually like half of the delegates would be owned by basically by the Tron Foundation, and half would be just centralized exchanges. So at this point, and then there has been obviously claims about Sesame Seed also kind of being puppet by Tron, and maybe some other companies on that 27 list. Who knows? But what I'm trying to say to people is that maybe Tron has to go the same shit that Steemit went, which is a hard fork. And I always liked the tokenomics model of Tron. Not very high inflation rate per year, super delicate system, and also the bandwidth energy system is pretty good. And it's not very expensive either. But the problem always been plaguing this network, and now more than ever, has been that it's very centralized. And then you have all of these recent scams which were endorsed by and verified by the Tron Foundation. Were they part of it? I mean, if you are running a centralized thing, you could like return the money from the Tron Supernode project, for example, and Shark Tron and Lion Tron, all of that could be reversed. I mean, you're running the network after all. But I just wanted to do this video, a bit of a smaller investigation this time. And so what I'm just saying that don't trust Justin's word pretty much on anything. And if you want to look for a more decentralized network, there are a lot of options. As a bit of a future prediction, I think that when Cardano and something like Zilliqa eventually roll out their dApps and can compete price-wise, gas fee cost-wise with Tron, I think that's when Tron is starting to crumble once a cheaper option comes along, because nobody wants to invest in a company or a project that is A, very centralized, and B, by the way, almost every company on that top 27 is Chinese. So this goes against every tenet of decentralized philosophy. But that's not black any longer. Here are my donation addresses, and I will see you guys on the next video. Cheers. Thanks for watching.